Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. But Stefano says a nigga moved in his apartment. Regardless, my daddy told me keep the heat with the hating on me, but niggas the biggest, the largest, the biggest, the largest, the biggest, the largest pussy ass nigga. The biggest, the largest pussy ass nigga. Alright, we're looking good.
This is the Out.Blue podcast. Listen anywhere you get your podcast.
That looks really good.
No, he's fucking good. That motherfucker don't.
The best things in life happen out the blue.
This shit right here, nigga. This shit right here, nigga. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Yeah. It's the Mastermind Chris Blue, and you are tuned into the Out.Blue podcast, the podcast where the conversation literally appears out the damn blue. What it do, man? Hey, as you can see, for this episode, I'm flying solo because my lady has some business to attend to. And to be honest, there's been a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes and things happening. But the show must go on. I know we haven't seen y'all in a couple weeks, and we're both sorry about that. But, man, it's a lot of stuff happening. Of course, that doesn't make up for that. But, of course, this show has to go on, and we got to be out there, and we're going to give you that content that we told you we would be doing. But, man, it's been a lot of stuff that's happened since the last time we seen each other, people. You know what I mean? Dreamville has happened. I want to wait to talk about a lot of that stuff with Dreamville on the episode where she's there, because it was an experience for both of us. But all in all, I'm going to say Dreamville was amazing. It's bittersweet that was the last Dreamville Fest. I put in quotations because it's going to be another festival taking its place and things like that. So yeah, it was a time, man. There's a lot of stuff we talked about. I, for one, was inspired by all of the rappers and all of just the content people out there, all the people that have flown in. Like, I was just inspired by the whole thing. And of course, J. Cole is the GOAT for my adulthood in general. So it was a lot. I mean, in 2 days, I saw Lil Wayne, the person that arguably for me, well, not even arguably, the person that for me as a kid was the greatest rapper of all time. And then and the next day, I see the person that is the greatest rapper of all time as a young adult for me. I'm not about to tussle with anybody arguing about that. So if you feel a way about that, hey, man, you're just going to have to deal with that shit. But this episode, man, I just wanted to, when I have the solo episodes, when I'm doing this, I try to, make it kind of like an inside look. Last time I did For the Creators, and as you can see by the title of this is For the Creators 2. You feel me? And I just kind of want to give you guys an inside look of what all the stuff that's been happening when it comes to the podcast and outside the podcast. For one, thank you. Let's just say that. Thank you to anybody that clicks a clip, that clicks the links, that checks out the sites, everything that's happening when it comes to Mind Masters and Out.Blue. I appreciate that shit so much more than you got to understand that this is something that I seen the kind of talk about it. I think I posted when it came to one of announcement on one of the websites, but this has been something that I've been wanting to do for such a long time. All of it, just creating content, having a website. 8 years ago, I had no idea how to make a website. Now, I still don't know how to make a website, but I have a better understanding, and I feel like I'm just in a creative mode. But at the same time, right, and one of the big things I want to harp on for this episode is that we talk about the creative modes, right? We talk about the good stuff happening, when everything is going on, people sharing your clips and everything's happening. We talk about that all the time, but we don't talk about those dog days, like those days to where this shit becomes some bullshit and you have to rely super heavy on other options. For example, we've been feeling, I ain't gonna lie, I've been feeling like those dog days for the last couple weeks. And what's been saving us is the clips that we have, and just those things that I took care of before we ever got to this, envisioning that we would get to those dog days. So just being prepared for that is something that's new to me. What I mean by dog days is for those people that, you know, might be new to content creation or don't know what the hell I'm talking about. When I refer to those, I'm talking about those days to where it is hard for you to get up and create content. Those days to where you're kind of in the middle of the marathon. You're not right at the beginning of you making content, but you're damn sure nowhere near the finish. And it's just like that messy kind of in-between area. And what I realize is that everyone has those, right? But the greats can always push past those in-between times and still get the job done, or just have those safe holds in place for when you don't have to record all the time. Luckily for us, our clips, I'm just going to disclose some of this stuff right now because all of this shit is, you can see, our clips are doing amazing. Compared to where we were at years ago, where this wasn't even called Mind Masters, it's just a little channel called Chris Ferragamo. If you would have told Chris back in the day that I would have some of the views we have on YouTube now, I would have told you it was a damn lie. But we're doing great on YouTube. That's because YouTube, understanding where we're at, YouTube pivots to a lot of short form content. So all of our clips really is the thing that's kind of keeping the numbers where they're at, because long form media is not the thing where people really click on. Because you gotta understand, nowadays you had to be a lot of people are more intentional about where they consume their content. So for example, if let's say I'm sitting down and I'm eating food. If I'm sitting down eating food and I got like a smart TV or whatever, it's more higher opportunity of someone watching your full video on YouTube. Meaning like they'll click the full versions of things and watch it. But honestly, very few people, I don't want to do broad realizations like that. So let me take that back. Most people consume the content through the clips. Like, for example, when it comes to something like the Joe Rogan podcast, I guarantee you a lot of people hasn't actually sat down and watched an episode of the Joe Rogan podcast and are consistent watchers of the Joe Rogan podcast. It's the clips. Everybody I know for a fact, and of course I'm doing generalizations and things like that, but everyone has seen the clip, at least seen a clip of Joe Rogan's podcast. So that kind of methodology is what went into creating Out the Blue, because we knew it was going to come a time where those dog days would hit and life happens. I know some of y'all probably seen it on Instagram and things like that, but I recently got a new car. I'm very proud, nervous because this is my first time having a car payment, but I'm very proud of having that car, because my last car, literally right out of Dreamville, I was fixing my tail light. I went to go get the light bulb for the tail light, put that bitch in reverse, and the engine just gave out on me. Can't even crank it. It's still at the damn car shop right now, and I done got the new car. It's still at the car shop right now because they can't even tell me what's wrong with it, but they already done said it's engine. We shopping engines. We trying to get quotes. I'm not paying for no fucking engine. It was cheaper to get basically to get the car that I have now. So there's that. So it was like, and I don't know if y'all understand. Some of y'all do, some of y'all don't. But not having a car at my big age is one of those things that, and of course I should be very grateful because I know a lot of people my age that don't have a car, and I'm not trying to at them at all. But just not having a vehicle when you're so used to having your own means of transportation is a very humbling ass thing. I mean, oh man, it will make you feel like a bum. And luckily, and thank God, and I'm going to give a lot of praise to God right during this, because if it wasn't for God, I mean, I have one of the greatest support systems in the world. I will put my support system up against anybody. I have some people that will ride for damn man. I'm telling you. Like, they really look out and they take L's. My girlfriend's a Brit. As you already know, she's come on now. You see it. My mom, like my stepdad, like my people, my cousins, my brothers, like, they really ride for me. So I'm very fortunate. And then brothers outside of that, and just in brothers in Sigma and things like that, I have a lot of people who care about me. So I have to thank God for that, because it could have been way worse. I was only without a car. That shit happened on Tuesday. I got my next car Saturday, Sunday-ish. So what's that? 4 days? 4 days? Whatever. We're not getting mad. But all I'm saying is it could have been way worse. So life is happening at the same time as we doing this content thing. Now, I'm not trying to make any excuses, because you have to be able to pivot through those things. Luckily for us, we haven't, and I don't want to get negative habits here, because I know what someone, and I can hear the criticism when I say this, but we are smaller right now. We're still building. We're still in those infant stages. We haven't even got to 50 episodes yet. So us missing a week of the podcast isn't so detrimental, especially when we have that social media feel of something coming out every single day. This is why the clips are important, because even if you don't drop, these clips make people think that you're still dropping. If you was to go to YouTube, you'll see the last video we put out was 2 weeks ago. But if you go to the Instagram, if you go to the shorts and the Instagrams and the social medias attached to all that, Mind Masters, mine, my personal one, Out the Blue podcast, if you look at all of those, clips coming out every day. So that's why just a rule of thumb, if you're creating content, I would just say make sure that you have some type of automation process. You have to. Because if you do not, although every time you press upload, it's going to be on you. You got to log in at a certain time. Maybe not log in certain, because on YouTube you can schedule them. And on certain podcasting, certain podcasting platforms you can schedule them. But everything you do, you're going to have to schedule like that week or whenever you do your episodes. You see what I'm saying? That's just for the episodes. Now, social media, you're going to have to post every time. If you don't have some type of automation process, you're going to have to log in at 8 posts, log in at 12 posts. That shit is a lot, especially because I pray that y'all don't think that we are celebrities yet or anything like that. We're still building. I hope it does not seem like we have it all together. And that's part of the magic within this content creation thing, is that we look like we have it all together, but we don't. We're still building. But the reason that I have the confidence to say that this is going to become anything else is because I'm just not going to stop. Period, point blank. I'm just not going to stop. I'm going to just stay with it, whatever. It will always be another episode. It will always be more content, because I'm just not going to stop. Period, point blank. And because of that, I know if I stay ready, I won't have to get ready. And I know that success is when opportunity meets preparedness. Well, I've been preparing for this kind of thing since 2014. So, and we're still getting better. It's still shit that I don't know. It's still things I can be sharper about. But here we are. So I'm just very confident in where we're going. But I want to be honest. This shit isn't all like, it isn't as easy as people think it is. And I'm not trying to discourage anybody. Because when you think of having a podcast, you think about the people and the conversations you can have, the sharing of clips, the networking and things that come of that way. You don't think about those days to where it's hard, or when some life happens and they hit you. If you don't have a plan for that, this shit can be the end of your show. Mind you, they say that a lot of podcasts do not make it past 7 episodes. 7 episodes. Think about how many podcasts that you know of. If most of those podcasts are doing good just because they have passed 7 episodes, that's a feat. You know what I mean? Especially if you want to do it at the top of the top, and you want to do your thing, and you want to be in control of your own narrative. It's hard, man. It's very hard, and I commend anybody. That's why I'm more so sensitive about talking shit nowadays when it comes to different people's creativity, because I know what it's like to make some shit. And I also know what it's like to make some shit for people who have never made shit, and they just feel like the world and what they say has no consequences, and they just splurt off at the mouth. You might argue with a motherfucker who's saying your content is trash. You go to their page is private, and it's not a real picture of them as the profile picture. So you're literally arguing with a ghost. So that's why understanding that, because as a nigga that grew up in the social media internet age, I promise you, unless some shit is very, and I don't want to say never because shit happens, but unless some shit is just a complete, utter, like, fabrication of my name and reputation, will you ever see me argue with a nigga like like on a camera, like on, like, you will never see me fucking take my phone and bitch, nigga, you will never, because a lot of times people just choose the narrative they want to go with, and if you want to have that false narrative, have it, but as long as that shit don't affect my good name and what I got going on, you good. I don't care, because I just see what it's like. I hate when certain celebrities, and sometimes they just be fed up. Like, I know KD is fed to fuck up. Like, people say crazy things to KD all the time. KD being Kevin Durant. And I know at this point he probably was just sick of letting it slide. He just gonna get down in the flow. Sometimes you gotta scrub the ground with niggas when they play with you. But it's gonna be very rare times where I feel that, like, I feel like that about a lot of shit. But all in all, this is what it's like to be in that messy middle area. This is what it's like. The days go long. Content is coming. You have to record, but you just got off work, because 9 times out of 10, we still 9 to 5 working dudes and women until this pops off. So you're still doing with the thing that actually keeps your lights on and how you afford all this shit. So you're still doing that, and then you got to get off work and make some content. That's hard, man. Especially if you're first starting out, you don't have editors and things like that. That's another thing where I'm blessed, because I started trying this in 2014, and just through trying and trial and error have I gotten to where I'm at now. That and just experiences in high school, college, whatever, but just keep showing up. For all the people that's making content in those days that gets hard, man, I'm clearly not perfect, but I'm gonna show up. You're gonna see me again. So I think that just the action of just keep showing up is the thing that pushes a lot of people past that 7 episode mark, and just pushes the ones that's gonna keep doing this versus the ones that are just doing it as a trend. Because the unfortunate part about this is that content is a trend right now. I remember when people said having a YouTube channel was stupid. I remember, how many people hit me and asked me to edit videos and things for them, because they don't really want this. If you want it, it's like you'll do whatever it takes to make it happen. You know what I mean? No disrespect to anybody that reached out to me and things like that. I love that, but I'm very hesitant to work with a lot of people because I don't know if you really want it like that. And that's the shit about me, right? I really want this shit. I've been wanting this since before people even knew it was a thing. You know what I mean? And that's the thing right now where I kind of understand how it's like to be an artist that's trying to stand out outside of one-hit wonders. Because there's certain people that come in and they just hit the baseball and they knock that shit into the outer field and that's it, right? They ain't really trying to do this. But then you have those ones that are consistently in your face years. They have that longevity and that sustainability. That's what we're trying to build here. So, and I'm not just talking about just the podcast when I say that. My Masters in general is going to be one of those media figures. I dropped the blog, and shout out to anybody that's been checking out the blog. I have a lot of just independent thought pieces on it, and of course, ways you can find this at Out the Blue podcast. But very soon, there's gonna be more things on it. I'm actually partnering with one of my fraternity brothers. That reminds me, I have to send them that shit. Glad I got that. Thought about that. Partnering with one of my fraternity brothers, and having him write some content for the blog. I know that blog is gonna be a place where I house different interviews. Just to kind of let the cat out the bag with that. I do want to interview certain people in different spaces, and I kind of want to section them. So on the blog, you may see like what I will call a mindful conversation with whomever, and that'll just be an interview, a deep dive, kind of like a article where we're talking and actually interviewing that person. That will lead to a video housed on the Mind Masters Media YouTube channel. So that's just an idea. Also, it'll be some kind of on a different temp, still kind of on a little bit similar, but on a different temp on the hip hop kind of thing. That's going to be another thing that's going to be housed there. Different independent hip hop. I don't want to say journalism, but different independent hip hop media, if you will, that's going to be connected to Mind Masters. So, just as a breakdown, we have Mind Masters at the top of our. Hold on, we have Mind Masters at the top of this pyramid. Right underneath, you have Mind Masters Media, which is the thing that presents the content. This podcast is a part of Mind Masters Media. And then you have Mind Masters Productions, where I actually will help people produce content. Because again, like I said, I have the knowledge of how to do this. And I'm still learning at the same time. So that's that. And under Mind Master Media, that's where you have the blog. That's where you have the podcast. And that's all the content will be underneath the Mind Masters Media banner. So I know it might be a little confusing for people. So because sometimes it looks like I'm going interchangeably between Mind Masters Production and Mind Masters Media. Mind Masters Media is the content. Mind Masters Productions is the shit that makes the content. So the behind the scenes things. Like if I was to, for example, this is something I plan to do. If I was to release an online class, an ebook, or things like that, that'll probably be under Mind Master Productions, because that's where that's the production arm of the media, and you get to see the story behind the story, right? And just to be able to package that is a blessing. You know what I mean? A lot of times, especially dealing with this podcasting thing, man, and just trying to navigate through the dog days and the other days where this shit sucks and it's hard and it's messy and everything. You hear all the noise, and the thing is, especially starting off, the noise is internal. There's never no one coming up to me and saying, "Chris, you need to be worried about this," because we're we're starting out and things like that. I very often get more positive comments than negative. Because we're starting, and it's not big enough to where someone can benefit on hating on us. Right now is love. One of the things I just understand by just watching different social media figures and just social media, content creators and social media superstars, is that the one thing that people, especially an audience, loves to do is to build a superstar, but the one thing they love more than to build a superstar is to tear one down. So another way of saying that is, if you live for the cheers, you'll die by the boos. So I try to create a buffer between me and the media and the actual content. You know what I'm saying? So if you show love to the content, I am seeing that. I appreciate that. But I have to create that buffer between me and the content. And of course, I'm looking at analytics and things like that in the comments, because we're still a very small team. And that's another conversation too. We're still a very small team, so I don't have that many. It ain't a lot of cooks. It's just me in the kitchen. You know what I mean? And my support system. So with that being said, I have to have that buffer. I appreciate the people that love, but I know we're going to be out here long enough to where it's going to be money and clout and things like that associated with hating us after a while. And I know that's coming. So I'm not wary of that. This is shit that you learn as you get older. When I first dropped a YouTube video in 2014 and I got a negative comment, that shit fucked my day. Like, that was an issue. You know what I mean? I had people talking. It was people talking shit. This is back in the day on YouTube, 2014. I don't even remember what was going on YouTube during that time. That's when I started. And I had people going in. I had people talking shit. I had people like, oh yeah, I had people trick me out my spot. I think I told that story, to where I was doing short form content at one point, and then the dude said, "Why your video so short?" And he had more subs than me. So I just believed him and said, well, he got the subs to prove for it. Maybe to switch to longer content. No, imagine where I'd be at right now had I honed getting that message off during that short period of time versus listening to someone else. If I had honed, do you know what it would have been, what this channel and everything would have been like if I had honed in on short form content years before anybody else had? And then I'm like, what? So that's crazy. And that's another thing that people don't talk about. You can get tricked at your spot, whatever spot it is, very easily in this content creation space. Just because you see something work for somebody else does not mean you need to pivot and do it the other way. A lot of these niggas is following trends and algorithms. Nothing wrong with that. But if you're just beholden to an algorithm, after a while you're gonna look back at your channel or whatever the fuck you're putting this shit out at and be like, what is this, bro? Like, what am I trying to do? Yeah, I got the numbers. Yeah, I did these videos and whatever, but I ain't really saying nothing. I'm just kind of just out here just doing whatever it is. But that's more so like, if you want more information on that, that's in the first for the creators. This one I wanted to talk about just what it's like to be in the middle of the marathon, and it is a marathon. It gets very discouraging when you see people who are your age on social media doing phenomenal things and you feel like you can't even crack the code to where you're at. That is a real feeling that I honestly still feel all the time. There are certain people that but I've never been a hater, so it's hard, right? I never been a hater on anybody. If you ever listen to anyone talk about me, they will tell you that I speak life into all the people, all my niggas, everybody. But it does get discouraging when you feel like you are just so far away from where you want to go, and you know someone that is exactly where you're at, where you want to be at, and it's just not lining up for you like that. Your story isn't the same as theirs, it's very discouraging. That's why social media be so fucking draining at times, man. Because it just fans all those fears and those questions. Like, it's this shit that I'm doing clicking. Yeah, I got the views, but you do everything you can to discredit everything you got because you don't know. At the end of the day, you don't know. I can drop this video and that shit can go viral tonight and change my entire life within 24 hours. Or I can drop it and it can be a dud and nobody ever watches anything, but they still say they fuck with the podcast. You see what I'm saying? So it's so much that can go bad when it comes to this shit. Well, perceives bad, especially if you're going by that negative voice in your head, like asking, like fanning those fears, like, am I ever gonna make it? I'm clapping for everybody else. I'm clapping for everyone's accomplishments in certain fields and certain things. But when is it gonna be my turn to clap? When is it gonna be time for them to clap for me? Pause. Like, when is it gonna be that? And the thing is, the whole time while you're feeling that, it's people looking at you like, man, you got this shit though. Like, you doing it, bro. Don't get it fucked up. You're doing it. So you have to, in very cringy fashion, because I mentioned Dreamville earlier, you have to love yours, man. You have to love where you're at in the journey, and just try to not have those thoughts, because they're gonna come. Especially after when you feel like you've been doing what you've been doing for a while, they're gonna come. I'm kind of using the Russell Russell thought process right now, to where you can't complain about the process if you haven't done 100. We haven't done 100 episodes yet, so I'm not gonna complain about the process of making the Out the Blue content and just all the content in general, because at the end of the day, I would do that shit for free. I am doing it for free. I've been doing it for free. It's something about it. It's literally a body of work. A lot of y'all just see clips and see videos and things like that, but you have to understand, it is cameras that record this shit. Then you take the video and you clean the video. Then you take that and you clean the audio, stitch it back together, put that on somewhere else. Then you clip the whole video up and make that, like, it's a process. It's a thankless thing until you have an audience, and a big enough audience at least. So you have to love it. You have to love it, and I love it. And I'm just grateful, man. But it's just, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of times it's very easy to go with the trend and just do whatever it is that you think will work because you see it work for everyone else. But it's very hard to create something that don't exist yet. I could have made a podcast with me and my girlfriend, and it'd been that. But I chose to make something like a Mind Masters Media because my aspirations isn't just having a show. And just to kind of put that in the thought process, because I know some people may not have thought about this, because it's just it takes stepping outside of just a consumer. As someone that's a producer with the Out the Blue podcast, that's now like that's basically the new radio, right? We can sell podcast ads. We can monetize like that, just like you do on radio at different breaks in the show that we select. Because in radio, there are certain standard breaks, like a 30-minute, like a top of the hour. In radio, those things are standard. Like, you can't move those breaks. Like, if you take those breaks where it's time to take the breaks, where they tell you to take them damn breaks. In podcasting, it's really where us as the creators choose to break. So you got that. And then that's one thing, right? Your show, your podcast. You take that podcast and you put that podcast on a video platform. Now there's a video version of your show that people watch. But podcasting, like I mentioned for the creators, podcasting is audio, so you don't even need the video version. The video version is gravy. So you got the video version of your podcast on YouTube that gets views, and then you get the audio version of your podcast, which is actually the big thing that needs it for it to be a podcast. That RSS feed is what you pay for. So now you can run ads on that RSS feed for your show that's different from the ads that you run on YouTube, simply because it's a whole different ball game. It's two different shows. It's two different avenues, right? So those are ways you can have different ads on those. And then what we decided to do, that's just the podcast, right? What we decided to do was to make Mind Masters Media an actual site, mindmastermedia.org, so where you can find everything Mind Masters. So that becomes a place where you can drop press releases, you can generate articles for what you want to talk about, and actually work on that SEO. And that's one thing, right? And later on down the line, you put interviews there. It becomes a hub, right? And then from that hub, it branches off into something else. So creating these content, you have to be very purposeful and understand what it is that you want. Because what I don't want to do is to be beholden to one platform. Because what happens is, let's say, for example, knock on wood, definitely knock on wood. Let's say, for example, YouTube decides fuck us one day and demonetizes the whole channel and deletes the channel. We could easily pivot to go right back to mindmastersmedia.org and post videos there if we wanted. Simply because we're making the foundation to where we're not beholden to one platform, and we can see the value we add as we get bigger. So that's this kind of thing. But we're building something that doesn't exist yet. It does exist for other people, but as far as a standstill idea, this is from scratch. You know what I mean? So that weight of trying to be a leader, making room for more shows, ideas, creative decisions, trusting the vision, trying not to doubt yourself, that is a daily battle. And some days I win and some days I lose tragically. But I all in all understand that I am blessed to be able to create anything. I think I want to believe that is the thing that God is trying to tell me and has been trying to teach me my entire time creating content, is just to be blessed that you can do this. There are some people that if you was to put all this shit in front of, they will have a heart attack. I'm blessed to do this for fun. I'm blessed to be able to have conversations and understand and be able to be like, oh, I can do this. Like, it was a big deal for me to be able to look at a piece of content and then replicate it if I want to. Like, those skills that you get over the years of not understanding ends up being the journey itself. So it's hard. It's hard, and a lot of times I'm in my head more than the most. I think I'm my biggest critic by far, and I'm in my head the most. So I appreciate every positive comment. I appreciate everything, because it is a hard reality to create content, and I really feel for the people who think it's just gonna be shits and giggles. Everybody teaches on everybody's journey ain't gonna be the same. For you, it really just might be slight, and that's that. Maybe you just do a couple episodes, that shit go viral, and now you got people to do it for you. But the vast majority of us aren't lucky like that. I had to learn these skills through old-fashioned trial and error. I don't have a degree in content creation. This is just straight passion. This has been passion burning like a motherfucking well-oiled machine since 2014, and here we are. So I don't have it all together. None of us have it all together. But one thing I can make sure, and just for anybody that wants to create anything, when that shit becomes like it's not fun anymore, just continue to show up. Like this episode. This is for the creators too, because I just wanted to give y'all this backstory, right? Because it's different than just trying to make some shit just because some shit need to get made. It's real love going into this. This is the labor of love, and I enjoy doing it so much. But I'm in my head, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. A lot of times you want to quit, but just I can't quit. I wouldn't quit because, again, this is something that I love. But I feel for those people that don't love it. I feel for y'all, man, because you're gonna end up being a flash in the past, especially once you see how much work really goes into this shit. Yeah, man. So, of course, like always, we gonna spin the wheel a little bit. Then I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here. Cause, like I said, man, this is just for the creators too. You know what I'm saying? We did for the creators 1. That was good. I was very happy to do that. But now it is for the creators 2. Yeah, man. So let's answer some questions and get the fuck up out of here. Do you ever feel pressure to perform instead of just create? All the time. All the time. Because you know every week that date's coming. That date is coming. And now you know you're going to have to edit. You know you're going to have to do all that. You know you're going to have to, like, hands down, you only got so much money. So you can't really pay a lot of people to do a lot of things. So for me personally, I pay subscriptions to help me with shit. So yeah, you want to make sure if I'm gonna do it, I'm a at least perform and have fun while I'm doing this. Yeah. You got to perform, because just having basic conversations nowadays get scrolled past. If you ain't doing nothing, well, at least it feels like it. If you ain't doing nothing crazy or something that diminishes the value or something else, or just looking wild, like, you may not get the clicks. So yeah, I feel the pressure to perform, but you gotta. And when I start feeling that pressure to perform, I get back. I kind of, because I'm able to do that right now. I can, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how, when you perform, that's when you make mistakes. It's not just a part of you. Like that, the conversations you see on the Out the Blue podcast with me and Zabria, that is just like we talk in real life to each other. Like, we're not performing. That's literally us, and the uniqueness of our conversations and who we both are. That is us. The moment you have to perform, that shit kind of gets old after a while. I think of it kind of like someone that takes their passion and try and makes it their job. And I use job more than career, because careers, I have a positive connotation to me. When something is your job and you have to do it, then it's like, all right. Versus when something is your career, you have to do it, but you know it's building that career portfolio. No one gives a damn about their McDonald's job, but everyone gives a damn about their teacher and career, if that's what you want to do. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's different. But all in all, hell yeah, I feel pressure to perform all the time. But whenever I feel like I'm performing, I dial it back. You know what I mean? You kind of got to step away and understand why the fuck you doing this. But if you are who you say you are, a superstar, the crowd, they want a show. So deliver it, my nigga. If that's what you do what you do. But the moment you start phoning shit in and doing shit just because you wanted to get views, that's when you start to flash out, my boy. Who inspires you right now, even if they're not a creator? I am inspired by anybody that tries to create anything. I'm inspired by authors, teachers, dentists, professionals. I'm inspired by a lot of people, but who has been inspiring me a lot recently, and this is going to sound kind of cliche, but J. Cole. Dreamville Fest was such an iconic thing that it made me go back and listen to those episodes the way he dropped the podcast with him and Eve talking about the whole journey. Because again, like I said, sometimes I just wonder, like, when is it gonna be my turn? When is it gonna be? When are we gonna hit that mainstream commercial success to where I don't have to do this 9-to-5 thing and I actually can have people edit these videos and I can just be the personality and I ain't have to worry about that. I can be on some DDG and Kai shit to where people are everywhere, you know, making sure this output becomes what it's supposed to be and shit. So yeah, I wanted that a lot, but I like to go back to the stories of people who I view as those North Stars and listen to those, and that inspires me a lot. So like people like J. Cole, Charlamagne the God, those people have been inspiring me a lot. More recently, I've been inspired a lot by Tyler the Creator and just his mind. Like his mind when it comes to this creation shit is on some next level thing. So right now I get inspired. I ain't gonna lie, I'm an inspiration hoe. I get inspired every day by something else, by something. Like I see some shit, I'm like, man, that's dope, and that's and it pulls me in that direction. I've been inspired by basically everybody at Dreamville Fest because they were doing this shit, man. Like seeing Coco Jones sing live, that shit was ridiculous. Seeing Ludacris and just the hits that he had, like Big Ass Plug. I've been listening to 2 a.m. since we left Dreamville. Yeah, I'm inspired by anybody that creates a content for the world to judge, because it is hard. And not only is it hard, we know that you are susceptible to backlash, but we still gotta do it. I'm inspired by anybody that makes that leap to be something bigger than what they think they should be, if that makes sense. I'm gonna answer like 2 more, and then I'm gonna hope y'all enjoyed this episode, man, because this is real from the heart, man. What's one thing you've learned about yourself through this creative journey? I learned that the most expensive thing that you can do is devote time. Like I said, I did not know how to do any of this in 2014. All I had was my cousin Quincy, shout out to him, holding a camera on my iPhone that was shitty quality. Now, I don't even think I had an iPhone at that time before that, but at one point I had an iPhone. Shitty quality, just holding it just to get like this content out. And from there, I just kind of just stayed around it. So one thing I learned about myself is that I'm very persistent. And once I have that drive to do it, there's nothing else that you can do. It's lights out. And I know that I have that all the time, just from a mixture of just wanting and dreaming of it to the paranoia of fearing and overthinking myself of not having it. You know what I mean? So it's a mixture of both of those that kind of made this flower bloom. So yeah, I just learned that I'm very persistent and I'm very driven, and that above all else, it may not be the greatest compared to like people that have a big ass production budget and, you know, everybody and all the bells and whistles and shit like that. But the one thing that I know is gonna happen is that I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna show up every day and I'm gonna do the fucking work, and I'm not gonna quit. So even if it's be a week or 2 or 3 or 4 and ever in between the episode, it's always gonna be another one. So I'm not gonna quit. There's always gonna be another piece of content produced. There's always gonna be another blog post. There's always gonna be another song, rap song. It's always gonna be another whatever, because I'm just not gonna stop until it's over for me. And you know what I mean. So, last one, man. I did see this one. What does success actually look like to you now versus when you started? That is a very great question. Success, when I first started YouTube, looked like very high numbers, and it looked like crazy numbers, and it looked like just, you know, big YouTube plaques and, you know, things like that, like diamonds and, you know what I'm saying, then having the bread, like getting that money and then like flexing and shit like that, being like, yeah, just back in the day YouTube shit, it was the numbers that was success to me. But now success to me is just the ability to make a living off what I'm doing full time. If I can make a living off doing this full time and doing something I love, wherever that is success. And then if I can turn that into generational wealth, that is success to me. I could give a damn about the number as long as it's connecting and there are people actually care about it, because numbers gonna actually change. It's gonna change. It's gonna go up and down. It's gonna fluctuate. So it's hard to have a number in mind when that number can fluctuate all the time. Of course, you know, when you get to 1 million subscribers, it's hard. They say it's easier to get to 2 million, 3 million, things like that. So, and you don't want to pigeonhole yourself. So of course I would love to have that. Of course I want that shit. But I can't let that be the thing that is success to me. Success is when I can generate generational wealth for my kids' kids. That is what this whole thing is trying to be. First thing that comes to my mind is that Dale Gillian Wallow signed with Barstool Sports. I want to say that it was like $100 million. They said it was. Like, imagine that, $100 million. Do you know what my family's trajectory will go if I had $100 million just off speaking about to these microphones and making this content? You know what would happen? Like, how much drastic the people around me's like lives would change, and the amount of stress that I'd be off us. Like, money is money, and everybody loves money, but money is a safety net. Like right now, I was a huge test, and these last 2 weeks have been a testament to that. For the average American, if something happens to them where it's an emergency and that emergency is more than $500, most of us are fucked if that happens. You see what I'm saying? Like, to be able to have that safety net and to enjoy the luxuries of life without having to worry about living paycheck to paycheck. And like I said, just making a living and on doing what I love to do and creating that generational wealth is success. If I don't have that, then I don't think I'll ever think I'm successful. But I'm going to have it because we're speaking positive and law of attraction and shit like that. But great question, man. Like I said, this episode is for the creators too, on the Out the Blue podcast. I really hope that y'all enjoyed this. I hope that if you're a creator, you got something from it. If you're not a creator and you just are one of those people that listen and watch content and consume, nothing wrong with that. And I love y'all for being able to, for making it this far in this episode and just clicking this fucking link. Because it's hard. I don't do this shit for my health. I do this shit because I see my future and I'm going for something that is unknown. I'm having faith as big as a mustard seed, and we're moving forward and becoming great. So, if you want to know anything more about the podcast, if you want to actually become a guest on the podcast, if you want to actually just keep in touch with everything on the podcast, make sure you go to www.outthebluepodcast.com and see all the new episodes. Make sure that you follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Mind Masters Media. And make sure you follow your boy on everything at Mind Masters Chris. And like you see right below right now, if you're watching via YouTube or wherever, youtube.com/MindMastersEST2014. Hit that subscribe button. We have tons of great things come. Oh, and real thing, I think I'm gonna put I'm gonna wait to putting this at the end of the episode would be great. So if you made it to the end of the episode, this is one thing that I've been kicking around that I didn't talk about. So back in the day, I was a rapper that went by the name Chris Ferragamo, right? Not trying to act like I was just the greatest rapper in the world during that time period. I just wanted to make rap music, and that's where it's at. But through that process, I fell in love with it, and I've been kicking around the idea of doing it again. But if I ever did rap again, I would just use my regular name, as in Chris Blue. I probably would throw the mastermind on it, just because that's just to keep shit uniform. But yeah, I've been kicking around that idea, and I'm pretty 100% sure that that's going to be a thing. So be on the lookout. I have some ideas for how I want to do it, because one thing that I don't like is how streaming platforms is pissing and shit in the face of all artists. And just paying them pennies for like 100 listens. I don't really like that. I grew up in like the mixtape kind of era, so where you had to log on and get a mixtape downloaded, listen to it, things like that. And like that, Piff, Spinrilla, live mixtapes, all that shit. So I'm kicking around some ideas, but don't be surprised when you see the young mastermind pushing the pen in another way in the future. But all in all, y'all, I love y'all so much. I love anybody that clicked on this video. I love anybody that shared the clip, clicked on the clip, laughed, left a comment. Like, I love everybody that is tuning into this Mind Masters wave, not just on the podcast, on anything Mind Masters and anything that has my name associated with it. And just know that this is what the fuck I do because I love it. I don't do this for no other reason. I want this more than 99.9% of the people that's doing it. And I won't stop until I get it. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I love y'all so much. Make sure you listen each week for another episode. Sometimes life happens and it may be bi-weekly, but you know we're always coming back again. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, please be blessed and thank God for having the ability to do what it is that you do. Be blessed, do not be stressed, and until next time, peace.